Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this another edition of 49ers Live Training Camp Edition with your shorty Professor B on location. San Francisco 49ers did their, this would be their practice, joint practice against the LA Chargers Tuesday afternoon. We'll give you a live report from a recap from 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan and also thoughts with Brock Purdy and Fred Warner, then Jim Harbaugh, former 49ers head coach and Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh, and Justin Herbert. So we will get to you with that. We'll have a nice podcast, and then we'll, recap, and then, and the time allows, we'll have some special other features as well. So glad you guys joined us on 49ers Live. As always, you can catch us on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49 as we're here live. And always don't forget to click the subscribe button. The goal is trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. As hope all you guys are enjoying this podcast tonight. So without further ado, we're going to send it now to Kyle Shanahan, 49ers head coach, recapping the current events today. There were some injuries in the Niners offense, or kind of not a good day for the Niners all afternoon. We'll hear from 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, which begins right now.
How did you think Kalen Black looked today, his first practice?
I thought he looked good from what I saw. It was his first practice back, which is always tough going against another team on your first day back, but he looked healthy, had some juice today, and hopefully he looks the same on tape.
They're playing first day?
Most likely. Yeah, I haven't told the guys yet. We'll tell them here this afternoon. So, but yeah, he played today, so I expect him to go.
You have an early diagnosis of Mike Evans?
No, they just said he has some tightness, so we're just being smart taking him out. I don't think it's anything worse, so we'll see when we get in there, but nothing that I'm worried about right now.
Strickland had a couple good catches in the red zone there from Mack and Brock. Just how did he respond today in his action here?
Those were two good plays. I think he had a couple rough ones too, so I'll hold my opinion until I really see the tape, but he's competing every day and getting better.
When you're coaching him up on film, Kyle, what's his reaction as you're pointing out whatever flaws he has?
I love how he handles himself. He stays humble. He takes coaching really well. Never seems to take anything personally. He's been a real fun guy to coach so far.
When you say you had a couple rough ones, there have been all errors?
Oh, no, I just mean not everything was perfect, like those 2 touchdowns, but that's my answer for everybody.
Kyle, there was a lot of skirmishes in the Titans practice, none today. Did you guys say anything different, or what do you attribute it to?
No, their head coach had more discipline than Tennessee's. No, I'm just joking. A few things started early in the Tennessee practice, which when that happens, then everything just gets escalated throughout the rest of the day. I wasn't on both sides, but, nothing happened early, and usually when nothing happens early, nothing happens late.
You guys have had some concussions among the linemen this year. Is that a surprise, just given that they're wearing the Guardian caps?
Yeah, it is. I think it just shows you those only do so much. My favorite thing about those is quarterbacks don't break their hands as much on the top of them. But, regardless of what you're wearing, if you get hit the right way, it's not enough. I know it does help. But, yeah, having those 2 in 1 practice a few days ago was unusual, and hopefully we'll have better luck with that going forward.
The starters are going to do a series out there. Do you expect the starters to be out there?
Yeah, not all of them, but I expect a number of starters to play, unlike last week. So I haven't told them yet, but they'll find out soon. But, yeah, you guys will see a number out there.
Including Brock?
Haven't told him yet, but there's a good chance.
Kyle, yesterday, Pro Football Talk said speculated that Christian is out of practice due to contract issues. What's your comment on that?
People make a lot of assumptions, and that would be one that they're wrong on.
Is there a timeline for him to come back? When do you think he might be able to practice again?
I think if it wasn't Christian and we were in a game week, I think he would play today.
Is it related to the calf or Achilles?
No, just some tightness. It'll get sensitive, I say, where. So.
How about Bosa? We saw him doing some stuff on the side. Is he making progress?
Yeah, he's making a lot of progress. He's a lot less irritation, soreness, and tendonitis, whatever you want to call it, than he had last week. So we think he's going the right direction, and we see him similar to Christian.
George said that he expects to be practicing sooner than later, is what he'll tell us. But where is he right now, and how soon can we expect to see him?
I mean, I kind of listen to George the same way you guys do. George isn't a big put a date on it, and I'm not going to be that dude either. But I think you guys can tell how he's talking, how he looks. That I agree. I think it's sooner than later.
He told us to ask you. So.
Did he? All right. I'll ask the trainer.
One more along those lines. What about Michael? Any further idea? When...
Yeah, I mean, he's further along. I mean, he's further away than those other guys you guys just asked about. But we do think he's close. I mean, I do think week 1 would be a long shot, but we haven't ruled it out yet. But he's progressing very well.
Christian Kirk has been out since that first practice. How is he doing?
That's been unfortunate for him because he had the same thing in OTAs, so he missed that, and he hasn't been ready to go. So he hasn't really had. He did the first practice before we even got the team period. So I know he's been extremely frustrated with it. We love the guys so far, but hopefully he can have some better luck going forward here, so he can get some refs out here.
How George said that Farrell's having a much better camp than last year, and he said that it's hard to sometimes learn this offense in 1 year. What are you seeing from Farrell in year 2?
I would totally agree. I think he's definitely a lot more confident just knowing what he's doing. I think and when you go through a whole year, you know how to prepare for it, to me, a different way. I think he came in OTAs prepared at a different level, and it's carried right over to training camp, and I think he's having a hell of a camp.
How generally did you feel about how the offense performed? It looked like it was pretty competitive.
Yeah, I liked it a little more at first. Didn't like it as much later. I thought we struggled a little bit in the move the ball periods. Didn't score in 2 minutes. So there's some ups and downs, but I didn't really like how we finished the day.
You did foreshadow last week that you wanted to get Carver Willis involved in the competition. How is that thing shaking out right now in the guard?
It's still a competition. No one's really completely made it easy on us yet. I still think we got a lot more time to go. Not a ton, but enough for guys to step up and do it. I think Carver, missing that time has made him a little bit behind the 8 ball on it. But it's good that he's gotten a full week in and hopefully has no setbacks. So we can make that opinion here in about 2 weeks.
Before practice, Harbaugh kind of said a lot of nice complimentary things about you and your program. Just from looking at his program from across the field, what stands out to you about Harbaugh?
Just how hard they work. I mean, you can tell. I liked how their whole team handled themselves. I mean, they weren't out here trying to cause anything. They were just out here to get to work, which usually starts with the head coach. Him being in San Francisco, there's a lot of guys in our building who speak really highly of him, and I got a lot of guys who used to work for me who now work for him who speak the same. So hung around him a number of times, but I feel like I know him even better than that.
Take a couple more guys.
Watch the offense, but how much has Daniel's presence been an influence on their offense?
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a ton. Mike does a great job. What he does do is totally different than what they've always done in the past. I think it'll fit their personnel very well, and I think it'll be a real good thing for the quarterback.
All
right, guys. Thanks.
All right, that was you heard from 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan from earlier today. Coming up next, we will hear from Brock Purdy and Fred Warner with their thoughts, and then after that, we'll hear from Chargers head coach and former 49er head coach Jim Harbaugh. And then we'll hear from 49ers insider Matt Maiocco from NBC Sports Bay Area. His thoughts of camp today. And then we'll give you some news and notes around. And then if time allows, we'll have our 49ers flashback segment as well. Professor B, we're going to take this quick time out and we'll be right back right after this. You're watching 49ers Live Training Camp edition updates on Niners Radio 49. We'll continue on 49ers Live. Just a reminder, the 49ers are coming up in about approximately a few weeks away before they'll travel to take on the Los Angeles Rams to kick off the 2026 NFL season and the land down under in Australia. And that will be a 5:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be the kickoff time, and that will be on Netflix. And then the Niners on September the 20th will kick off their home opener against the Miami Dolphins in an interconference matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the 49ers. By the way, this will be, I'm trying to think now, this will be for the 49ers. For the fourth time, the Niners will be hooking up with the Dolphins in the last 7 years. And they've the Dolphins have won 2 of the last 3 against the 49 they have ended up beating the 49ers have won going back. They've won 3 of the last 4 since 2016. And then they'll play the Arizona Cardinals. Then they'll wrap up the 3-game homestand against the Denver Broncos as well. So get your tickets at 49ers.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.com. Ticketmaster, official ticket provider for your San Francisco 49ers. So let's go now to this next segment on Niners Radio 49. It's going to be Brock Purdy and Fred Warner, the 2 co-captains of the 49ers. The thoughts of today's camp down in El Segundo. We're going to hear from both Purdy and Warner, and those segments which will commence right now.
Brock, what'd you think of the day today? How you guys did?
Honestly, I don't think it was our best day. I feel like fundamentals and stuff were just a little off and whatnot. I mean, obviously there was some good stuff, some stuff we need to work on, but just feel like we could have came out with a little bit more chip on our shoulder offensively. I don't know how our defense did, but yeah, that's just overall thoughts.
What do you think Kalen Black has added coming back from his injury? How's he added to the offense?
Yeah, I thought he looked good, hitting the hole and running hard. Like you could tell there's a different level of intensity when he touches the ball, and I'm excited to see what he does in live action too with, breaking tackles, hitting the gaps and stuff like that. But I thought, from the jump, KB came out running pretty hard, so I was excited to see him back.
It's part of the struggle, just kind of wide receivers that have been out of camp, looking at back and forth from injury.
Yeah, that's sort of part of it. I feel like I've dealt with that before. But yeah, obviously you want to have the same guys out in the field and whatnot, getting your chemistry down. But I think we've done a good job though of the next guy being up and ready and going in, and it's not too big for them. So that's how I feel about it. I love all of our receivers and stuff. I know we've had some grinders of some practices, last couple of days and stuff. I don't know if that had any effect or whatever on them today, but it was one day at practice, and they're going to bounce back, and we're all going to be good. So.
Mark, you had a pass deflected, I think intercepted and stuff, like almost like a throwaway pass. You've only had maybe 1 or 2 interceptions all camp. Is that like something that you went into camp? I want to cut down on interceptions, or whatever happens?
I mean, my mindset is go in and try to execute every play. Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over, but I just try to be efficient. Get into a habit of if it's not there, check the ball down, throw the ball away. I feel like I've done that at camp. Down there in the red zone. I don't know if I'm going to throw that ball in the game, but I wanted to try, putting a tie ball on to Luke, and it was good coverage on the backside by the safety, and he just poked his hand out and popped the ball up. So that's practice. But I think it's also good work to see if I can get that done or not. So, yeah, that's sort of just been my mindset for camp.
You guys are working through the options at left guard. What have your just early impressions of Carver been since he's kind of gotten more opportunity here lately?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job with coming in, and there's a lot within our offensive run scheme and everything. So as a young guy to come in and learn that quick, it's a challenge. And so I think he's been able to handle it pretty well. And I know he's going to keep getting better with more reps. But any guy that is in front of me, man, I'm going to have their back, and I know they're going to give it their all for me. So I'm going to keep believing in him, working with them, and yeah, I got a lot of trust in him.
Before practice, Jim Harbaugh told us that he really wanted to meet you. Did he end up
meeting?
I haven't met him yet. I might meet him after this, but yeah.
The defensive line over here had a good day. I know you didn't see their practice, but what have they shown you throughout the practices with them?
Our defensive line. Yeah, man, I think, Coach Kerserek does a good job with just like their intensity, man. Like every play, they're going to shoot their gaps and you're going to feel them. And especially on the edges too, like I really got to step up in the pocket, against our guys. And they do a good job getting around the edge and also on the keepers and stuff. They're there in our face. Like you can just feel them every play. And it feels like they do a good job with rotating guys, and the next guy that comes in, they're going to bring it too. So I feel like that's obviously a huge part of a team, down in the trenches, man. If you have a good defensive line, you can go really far. And I believe we have that. So obviously we get Bosa back too. That's going to be good. And Michael Williams. So it's going to get even better.
Last one, guys.
Oh yeah. Osa is a baller. I think, one of the more slept on guys in the league. So I'm extremely excited that we have him, and every single play, like he's almost going to sack me, it feels like. So he's done a great job all camp.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Had a little bit of a challenge from the defensive back today. What were they doing over there?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, when you're in the battle, right, what's exactly going on. You got to see the tape to really see what it looks like. But, anytime you get to go against another team, it's a great opportunity to see where you stand. And I always look forward to joint practices for that reason, right? So come out and be in a game-like setting against another opponent. So luckily it was a good test for us.
Bosa seems to be getting a lot of pressure on the interior as well, that he definitely have the confidence.
Yeah. Osa just seems like he just keeps getting better and better, right? I love the mindset, the tenacity, the physicality that he brings to the position and to our defense. We know how important it is to get pressure up front on the quarterback and in the run game. So I think Osa is just going to continue to get better as we keep going.
What kind of treatment do you have to do on your ankle as you get through camp here? Obviously, it doesn't look like it's bothering you, but just curious how that goes.
No, I mean, I can't tell you how thankful I am, honestly, of like just how it recovered, and I really don't have to think about it much. It doesn't require any extra after practice treatment or anything like that. I mean, God is amazing in that way that I feel back to myself again, and I don't have to constantly be like, oh man, my leg's throbbing or something. It's honestly just regular football soreness at this point, and but when you don't play for over half a season, your body feels pretty fresh, and you just get to go out there and fly around.
You don't swim still, do you?
No, the swimming got to get put on hold for a little bit. Right now it's all about just ball. It was really helpful, just the pump in the ankle when I was unable to walk, being able to get back in there and get the cardio in. I think that was a big reason for why I came back in the playoffs as quick as I did in as good a shape as I was, without the ability to really run and get my cardio that way. So I think the pool helped a ton.
Since from the first start of training camp, has there been a change in emphasis with punch outs? When one of your ball carriers is carrying the ball, or even doing a joint practice like this?
For me, no. I'm always, that's my emphasis every single play. Honestly, does every play have a punch out op? Not necessarily, but I'm going to try to find it, where I can, and something that I've just. Me over the years, I've just tried to practice it so much where it's not even a thought in my mind. It's just second nature at this point. And so, it's beyond the point of me trying to just get punch outs. It's like, how can I, be infectious to the rest of the team and have it on everybody's mind? And we talk about it, affecting the football in all different sorts of ways. But game on the line, got to have it moments, where we need to make a play. I try to definitely have it on my mind in those situations.
And the reason I ask is because first or a couple weeks ago, or so, you said that's how Jordan was injured with a punch out that went awry.
That play specifically, I know there was like a clip that circulated with me and Jordan. That wasn't the play where he got hurt. It was just honestly just an unfortunate collision between Jordan and I when we didn't have pads on. It wasn't, me intentionally trying to go in and punch a ball out on him. It was just accidental.
Which of the young linebackers stood out to you in the game against the Titans? All
of them. I think everybody had good things and things to work on throughout that game. We had two backers get sacks in that game, which is, you don't see that. You haven't seen that a lot from our group in the past, but to see young Larry get in there, get a sack, and then Tatum bulldoze a running back to get a sack. Doug did a lot of good things in that game as well. Wallow has been phenomenal all camp. He had a really good track tackle out in space. Nick Martin blowing people up, unreal. So there was a lot of guys that did a lot of good things. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but I liked what I saw from the group.
All right, that was Fred Warner and Brock Purdy meeting with the media down at El Segundo, California, with the 49ers having a joint practice with the LA Chargers. And of course, the 49ers will face the Chargers for Thursday night and at week 2 of the NFL preseason. That kickoff time will be next Thursday, or this Thursday night will be approximately at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can catch that game locally for all the Niners fans in the Bay Area on KPIX CBS 5, your exclusive home of San Francisco 49ers preseason football. It will be Guy Haberman and Tim Ryan will call the action, and then it will be on the radio. It will be Bob Fitzgerald and 49ers 4-time Super Bowl champion Keena Turner will be handling the radio duties. And we come back. We will hear from former 49ers head coach and current LA Chargers Jim Harbaugh, and they will also hear from Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert as well. We'll take this time out. Professor B, you are watching live 49ers live training camp podcast. Check us out at youtube.com/at Niners Radio 49. Our goal is to get the 1,000 subscribers and to continue to build this podcast. So we continue. We'll take this quick time out and we'll be right back on Niners Radio 49, part of the Satellite Digital Media News Network. All right, we continue on 49ers Live Training Camp Podcast. Professor B here on location. When it's on the training camp on the road Tuesday, as they trail to the LA Chargers facility, the season marked the second joint practice, and they feature 11-on-11 red zone and situational work against the same different opponent. And take a look at the injuries from the game, from the practice. Right back, Keelan Black returned to practice full pads after being out with a abductor injury since day 6 of camp. Wide receiver Demarcus Robinson returned after missing Sunday's practice. Linebacker Drake Greenlaw returned sitting out last practice with soreness. Defensive lineman Keon White returned to practice in pads, mainly participate in individual work. Wide receiver Mike Evans exited practice on Tuesday with an injury. And those C.J. West, Nick Bosa, Grayson Hamilton, Christian McCaffrey, Jordan James, Christian Kirk, Malik Mustafa, Virdling Lowe, Kyle Juszczyk, Luke Gifford, Brett Todd, Nate Hobbs, Drake Greenlaw, Curtis Work, and Dominic Pooney all were out of practice on Tuesday due to injury. So the latest from the 49ers. And just a reminder, and as always, if you want to stay ahead of the game, please go to 49ers.com. And so also just a reminder, Another Notch to Build episode 2. If you want to watch that episode, that is I watched it last night, the recap of the 49ers first preseason game from last Thursday night. They will it's the second week of it. It's called Another Notch to Build episode. The second episode of it, you can watch that on 49ers Live. Now, we can't show too many of the highlights, the full film, because of the copyright material contractual with the 49ers. So it's a great show, and you know if you have the time, you can catch that. So the faithful hub, where all fans belong. Join, connect, celebrate, pride, explore. Want to get involved, explore communities? Follow the 49ers at 49ers.com. And now on our next segment, we'll go to former 49ers head coach John Harbaugh. We'll hear from him and Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. Their thoughts about the joint practice 11-11 against the 49ers. And this next segment on Niners Radio 49, which begins right now.
So, Jim, you expect Sean to practice today?
Sean will be off to the side today, and anticipating to be back this weekend practicing.
Will Tardy participate in the team?
Tardy will be an individual.
Will be back.
D-Jack will be out today, and so will Trey. That's it.
What are you expecting to see today from both sides?
Just winning practice. I know we're super excited to have this joint practice against with the 49ers, and got a lot of great situations in for today. A lot of good 11-on-11, and I think it's good for us, and I think it'll be good for the 49ers, and so win-win.
How do you work that, Jim? Do you and Kyle get together and talk about this kind of workout, what you both want to see?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing leading up to today, and we're on the same page, ready to roll.
Where does the left guard battle stand for you right now?
Yeah, some things have taken place, really that have all been for the good. And I said there was a timeline, but the paradigm shift has resulted from just good, and so continues to be competitive. And the good is that the offensive line has been healthy, across the board. There's been no worries there. Secondly, the veteran players who we didn't know how they'd be when we got to pads, with it's just the position in general. Until the pads come on, do you really know? But Yode's been outstanding. Was without the pads, is with the pads, starting caliber guard. Trevor Penning has really asserted himself the last 4 to 5 practices, starting guard caliber. And then Branson Taylor it's been pretty well documented, the kind of offseason that he's had, and the start to camp and the preseason game has been really good, both at guard, and his flexibility at tackle is super impressive. Probably the biggest factor in all of it, though, is the 4 rookie offensive linemen and the way they've acquitted themselves through these 13, 14 practices. 2 really showing that they're almost could be day one starters, game one starters, which you just don't anticipate that, and you don't anticipate that with a rookie offensive lineman, especially. It's just rare, it's Joe All stuff. It's stuff like that. So, and I'm talking about Jake Slaughter and Travis Burke, but Logan Taylor, Mr. Harkey, they're darn good too, really good. So I just say, like we always say, competitors welcome, and we'll keep competing and keep rolling. But it's just, as I said, good when it comes to that offensive line. And
So there's a paradigm shift with left guard. You mean that it's more competitive than you were anticipating, or someone has asserted?
I think I just explained it. Where we were, like, not knowing, like, hey, I thought it would have been more, clear at this point, like, to name a starter, because you asked me, what was going to be starting. So, yeah, it's just different, and it's all for the good. 3 goods, triple net.
Does that mean you're extending the deadline? Like, because you had said
No deadline. Yeah, that's the paradigm shift. There was kind of we talked about a deadline, but because of those 3 good factors, but I hope I'm explaining this reasonably well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. I guess that's.
Mike McDaniel is a long-time lieutenant of Kyle Shanahan's. When you were hiring him, did you consult with Kyle, or have you spoken to Kyle since the hiring of Mike?
Yeah, we spoke after, a couple of months after, and all the things you just said were super true. Mike raves about Kyle, and Kyle lights up when he talks about Mike, and that really says it all.
Jim, when you made your quarterback debut for the Chargers in '99, I believe it was in Sydney, Australia, what do you recall from going all the way down there to play, and what kind of a challenge does that present as a player, because the 49ers are going to have to do that in a few weeks?
Was that my debut?
It was '99, yeah.
I remember it well because that was the first time I was diagnosed with a heart arrhythmia. And that's what I remember the most is I had got passing out at the feet of Dr. Chow and one of the other Charger doctors, but wearing a Holter monitor for 48 hours and then playing in the game and then coming back and getting an ablation. You know, that's mainly what I remember about that trip.
Than tourism.
Yeah.
Or house or anything like that.
Yeah. It was mostly about what was going on with the ticker.
When the 49ers and Titans practiced recently, there were 12 or 15 skirmishes. What have you said to your team about that? And do you still have your standing rule of $2,500 fine per punch that you had back in the Niner days?
I had that rule? I don't remember that one. You sure about that?
That's what Alex Boone said the other day.
Oh yeah. I don't recall that. We're just focused on getting really good work. A winning day, making today great. It's a great day to have a great day, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on our football, man, and going out and making it a great day.
Jim, what's your plan for veterans versus young players playing on Thursday?
Starters are going to play a series, and then they're going to come out, and the backups will play the rest of the game.
What are you looking forward to seeing from Justin on Thursday? Mike, new offense.
Yeah, I mean, just going through, getting the game action. The operation will be tremendous to practice. New center, that's huge. Just a real dress rehearsal for game one. Not wanting that those first snaps to be game one.
Last time we talked about left guard, you told us there was a leader in the clubhouse. Is there a leader right now still?
I don't know if I could. No, it's very, very good, very competitive.
Do you know who'll start left guard on Thursday?
Not yet. Between a couple guys. I know you're focused on that. I don't have the urgency that you do in naming the starting left guard, but I'm excited as heck about the competition, that we have. Not and at that position and at multiple positions, starter and backup. The competitive waters are hot on offense, defense, and special teams, and as you know, that's the way we like it. Competitors welcome.
You think I have urgency?
I think you have more urgency than I have on naming a starting left guard, because I've gotten that question from 3 different people. So I'm just saying you all as a group.
You gave us a deadline before, so we just want to update. No urgency.
I feel like I've plowed that ground very thoroughly.
Sorry. You said the starters are from both sides will play one series, and that's it.
Yeah.
Are there any guys on the 49ers that you're curious to see how they practice? Any other specific veteran stars or?
Yeah. A bunch of them. Huh? I want to meet Brock Purdy. I want to shake his hand. Hopefully Kyle will introduce me to him. All the guys you watch and see and have, everybody has so much respect for the kind of players they are and people they are. So, and it's a roster full, of great guys and great players. Our guys are great guys and great players. And so, I mean, it's super fun. That's super fun to be on the same field and talking ball. So, yeah. I want to say hi to George Kittle. I want to meet him. A bunch of guys.
Is there anything in particular about Brock Purdy's game that you've appreciated from afar?
Yeah, just how good he is. His timing, his decision making, his accuracy. Just how it's like how cool he is. How cool he plays, and all that. Same kind of the same way I think of You know, I mean, it's cool. I love the stuff he puts on tape. I love his demeanor. Love the toughness of his teams. You know, love that they're really good at football, and you know, great to be around it.
Jim, when you put together the joint practice or agree to it, do you give any consideration at all that I know it's down the road, but week 15 you play the same team?
Yeah. Yeah, we just look at it like similar to a division opponent that you'd play twice.
What makes Kyle Shanahan a good head coach? What do you admire about his work?
Proof's in the pudding. You know, it's just right there. It's just been just always really, they're always just really good, you know, and if, you know, if something isn't, then it gets fixed ASAP, you know, could be the next week, could be 2 weeks, but it's not much further past that. And, you know, it's never been consecutive years, you know? So I think it's a really good way to judge coaches.
Mike was talking yesterday about Justin and his footwork and the way he's adjusted from the first practice that they had in training camp till now. Just how have you kind of seen him take this offense and change the mechanics that obviously Mike wanted him to make to his footwork?
How have I seen it? Just seen it. I've seen it, and it's been good. I guess I don't exactly know what you're asking me.
Well, he was talking about his footwork, that the footwork that Justin is adjusted. With medicine ball and all these workouts that
took that coaching and, you know, in Mike's words, did exactly the way he wanted it done 3 days into practicing it. So it's been good.
Do you see the growth from Akeem Messidor?
The growth? Yeah, he's just, you know, he's just really been good. You know, the computer works, you can tell, you know, within those snap to whistle, the way they can adjust, you know, everything's just been good. The way they respond to coaching, you know, the really great ones. I mean, they can look at it in the classroom and the board and then go right out to the field and do it that way. You know, he's just been one of those guys that yeah, you see it. He's got the presence.
I thought
it was a good day. Have to watch the film to see exactly how it went, but thought the guys got off the line of scrimmage good, and the offensive line did a great job blocking.
Mike talked yesterday about giving you challenges throughout camp and watching you execute them in real time has been like a thrill for him. What has that process been like for you?
I think it's just been practicing, going through the reps, getting experience, seeing how he coaches the game, what he wants from the offense. And my job is to translate that, do everything I can as the quarterback to be able to progress through the reads, get the ball to the guys in space, and do my job.
The thing that he's asked you to do that you've noticed you've been able to change in your game, like you talked yesterday about asking you to read close safety quicker and throw with anticipation, and you did it immediately. Do you have an example of something you've applied quickly when he asked you to do?
Not off the top of my head, but that would probably be a good example if that's what he said.
You saw Tyler go down and the car come out. Just your reaction to what happened out there with Tyler.
Yeah, obviously praying for the best. I don't know exactly what happened, and I haven't heard the report back, but hoping for the best for him.
How do you feel like Jake did come in there with the first team after Tyler went out?
Yeah, that did great. To be able to step in as quickly as he did. He's got a great feel for the offense. Moves quickly. He's a great pass protector, and Obviously a tough situation, but I thought he did a great job today.
I've heard you talk before about trust and how your teammates have trust that makes them believe in you no matter what the situation.
I think it's just about doing your job and having respect for your teammates that, you want them to give 100%, so you better give 100% yourself. And I think we've come to an understanding as an offense that, everyone's giving their best effort. And that's why everyone loves playing for each other. They've got respect for each other. And I think that's why it's a really close group on offense. So I think it's been really cool to see that.
All right, that was you heard from former 49ers head coach, current Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh, and a little spice of some Justin Herbert. Again, the 49ers will take on the LA Chargers for the second game of the preseason. That will be Thursday night at 6 o'clock, and you can catch the game on KPIX CBS 5. Guy Haberman and for Greg Papa, filling in for Greg Papa. And of course, Tim Ryan with the action down at SoFi Stadium in Southern California. This Thursday night at 6 p.m. on KPIX CBS 5. So we will continue on. Now we'll have our segment coming up with Matt Maiocco from NBC Sports Big Area, as we are going to get ready to share you that next segment. Matt Maiocco from NBC Sports Big Area. We have on our podcast recently, and we are going to, coming up in a few weeks, we'll be having our 49ers, Niners Radio 49ers special previewing the 2026 NFL season, and we'll go around the league as well. This is Matt Maiocco, earlier following a report from down at the El Segundo from the Chargers headquarters of the conjoint practice, and his thoughts. And we begin this segment right now.
All right, thanks for joining me. I'm checking in from El Segundo, where the 49ers wrapped up their joint practice against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I will say this, the Chargers are a lot better competition for the 49ers than the Tennessee Titans, as the 49ers, I think, really kind of struggled on both sides of the ball. I wasn't over on the defensive side, but I could tell by the crowd reaction and my colleague Jennifer Lee Chan, who was over there, Justin Herbert basically had his way with the 49ers defensive backfield and against their defense as a whole. So the 49ers, as you come into it, you had to think that, the 49ers defensive front is going to continue to be a spot that gives the team the most concern. And without Nick Bosa out there, that appears to be the case. Osa Digizua apparently had a very good practice, but, we all know the 49ers have a very good linebacking core, but it's those question marks up front with their defensive line and the defensive backfield that had been doing very well in practices up to this point apparently did not fare so well against the Chargers on Tuesday. Over on the other side of the ball is a little bit more hit and miss with the 49ers offense. Brock Purdy, all things considered, was just fine, but yeah, the 49ers didn't really do much later in practice when it went to a move the ball period and also red zone. Oh, they're a little bit better in red zone. DeJon Stribling had a couple of nice plays there. Kalon Black back in the lineup for the 49ers, so that's definitely a positive sign for that team. Another positive sign was I did ask Kyle Shanahan about Pro Football Talk, their report, that in the speculation, I should say, around the league, that the reason that Christian McCaffrey isn't practicing is because of a contract situation. Kyle Shanahan was very upfront, very adamant that it is something physical, but also that the physical part of it for Christian McCaffrey isn't all that serious. So what he said about Pro Football Talk speculating that Christian McCaffrey was looking for some sweetener in his contract, what Shanahan said was this: people make a lot of assumptions, and that would be one that they're wrong on. And as far as Christian McCaffrey, he declined to go into specifics about the tightness that he's feeling that's kept him out of practice since August 10th. But what he did say, he said, I think if it wasn't Christian and we were in a game week, I think he would have played today. So again, doesn't feel like there's anything too concerning about Christian McCaffrey, as a lot of these guys, 49ers are not taking any chances. And on Tuesday, they didn't take any chances with Mike Evans either. Now, Evans did miss about 12 practices, or 12 days of practice, I should say, with a quad strain or a quad tightness or injury to that sort. He was back. He's been back now for about a week. He was removed from practice early, and I could see him kind of walking gingerly to where the 49ers had their kind of training situation set up on the practice field here, where the LA Chargers train. But what Shanahan said was, and later, by the way, I saw Mike Evans with a wrap, like ice, around his left quad. But what Shanahan said was, they just said, meaning I'm sure the medical staff, the athletic training staff, they just said he had some tightness and we were being smart taking him out. I don't think it was anything worse. It's nothing that I'm worried about right now. Before Evans was removed from practice, Brock Purdy and he hooked up on a couple of nice plays. So, Mike Evans, Dejon Stribling, Deebo Samuel, those guys have all been kind of really establishing themselves as the top three receivers on this 49ers team. And, I've said it before, I'm not sure, once the season starts, how the 49ers are going to divvy up the touches and the receiving yards and just the production amongst those three. Right now, they seem pretty well even. Stribling, I gave him the play of the day, although Trenton Irwin, a 6-year pro, played previously with the Bengals and also from Stanford. He had a really nice play far down the field, a deep pass from Mac Jones on a 4th and 7 situation. But Stribling had a couple of touchdowns during the red zone period. He went up high to get a pass, only a 3-yard pass, came down hard. He and the cornerback got mixed up, but he held onto the ball, got both feet in bounds. So there was a touchdown. He also got a 6-yard touchdown from Purdy as well. So Stribling continues to build on what he's done so far in training camp. Shanahan, although he said, he says those were good plays. He had a couple of rough ones too, but he's competing every day and getting better. As far as Thursday night for the 49ers, they will be playing the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Expect to see more of the regulars out there for that second preseason game, including Brock Purdy for a short period of time. Kalen Black's going to play. I don't know about some of the other guys like Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw on that side of the ball, but one of the competitions to look at for the 49ers would be the left guard situation. Carver Willis, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. I saw him make a really nice block on a defensive tackle that sprung a Deebo Samuel run play deep into the defensive backfield for the Chargers. Also saw him kind of late getting over to pick up a stunt. So a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. I would say, kind of boiling it down, first weeks here of training camp as the 49ers get set for their second preseason game. I think the concerns with the 49ers going into camp are probably the concerns they should have at this point right now as well. And I mentioned the defensive line. Where's that pass rush going to come from? There were some good pass rushes today from that unit. Sam Okawanu, Romello Height, Osa Digizua. But how is the depth on that unit, and where are the sacks going to come from? Osa Digizua hasn't been a big sack guy, but Brock Purdy said something interesting. He says he kind of feels like the rest of the league has slept on him, that he's a much better player than he's given credit for. And just watching Odigizua during practices, I would tend to agree. he does look like a guy who's ready to take that next step and be, in that Pro Bowl conversation. But by and large, when you look at the 49ers pass rush, that remains an issue. I
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
and Robert Jones. It just seems to me at this stage, when you're having three guys compete for that starting job, it tells you you don't have a guy. You don't have a guy who can step in there and be a solid starter. So 49ers have to figure some things out on that front as well. Again, practice highlighted by Kalon Black, getting back out there, looking really good. And what Brock Purdy said about him was, I thought he looked good hitting the hole and running hard. You could tell there's a difference level of intensity when he touches the ball. I'm excited to see what he does in live action too, with breaking tackles and hitting gaps. What Shanahan said was, I thought he looked really good. It was his first practice back. It's always tough going against another team on your first practice back. And he looked healthy and he had some juice. So he caught some passes. He ran the ball. He did have one play where you could tell he's getting a little bit antsy. A pitch from Mac Jones. He fumbled, picked it right up, and then tried to get up the field. But those are some of the things that happen in practice. Again, I do think probably on both sides of the ball, the Chargers won the day. What Purdy said about the offensive side, he said it wasn't our best day. I feel like our fundamentals were a little bit off. I feel like we could have come out with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. Another injury update. Well, there's been 5 concussions the 49ers have sustained during practices, and the guys are wearing the Guardian helmets, which kind of seems unique or odd that they'd be having all these concussions. But there were 2 concussions from the last practice the 49ers had. CJ West, he's out with a concussion. Also, Titus Leo had a concussion. I mentioned those. Those were on back-to-back plays at the 49ers practice facility. The 49ers did waive injured Titus Leo and they brought back Evan Anderson, who they cut early in training camp. So CJ West is going to make a little bit of miss a little bit of time as he goes through the concussion protocol. But one of the things that Shanahan said was, he doesn't feel like necessarily those Guardian helmets prevent concussions. But what he said is that the major benefit from his standpoint is that quarterbacks who are throwing in traffic and they hit somebody's helmet, that saves the quarterback from a broken finger. And that just reminded me of Trey Lance as a rookie for the 49ers. He broke his right index finger on a helmet in a preseason game against the Raiders, and that thing did not heal properly, and he never really could spin it all that well after that. My colleague Jennifer Lee Chan tells me kind of an up and down day in practice for Trey Lance, who's now the backup or competing for that backup spot with the Chargers. Another injury update to bring you up to date on would be Christian Kirk. He's been sidelined from the very first day of training camp with a calf injury. And Shanahan said that it's something that he aggravated during the offseason as well, during the offseason program. What Shanahan said is, I know he's been extremely frustrated by it. We love the guy so far, but hopefully he can have some better luck going forward so he can get some reps out there. So Christian Kirk hasn't had an opportunity to really compete for a roster spot. We'll see how he does. In the meantime, Jacob Cowing has come back, and he's looked good catching punts. He does look comfortable fielding the ball on punts. I did not include him on my last 53-man roster projection. I'm going to have to really consider that coming up after this game because to me, he looks like the most sure-handed guy and maybe the most steady guy as far as fielding punts. But he also had a nice catch, 15-yarder from Mac Jones. Demarcus Robinson returned to practice. He had a couple of good catches, one from Purdy on about a 15-yarder. I did mention Trenton Irwin, who's made some plays, including that deep one. Deebo Samuel lining up all over the place. He's doing what he's doing. I would say, by and large, the 49ers pass protection was kind of hit and miss. There was some pressure allowed up the middle, but Purdy had time to make throws. It just felt like the precision was off. They were just a little bit out of sync from the practice that the 49ers had against the Titans last week. So the first team offense will get out there, or at least who's healthy enough on the first team offense. Dominic Pooney, he didn't practice. He has the concussion as well. So 49ers will get out there on Thursday night against the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. We're going to see a little bit more of the regulars as the preseason is winding down and the 49ers have to start getting into that mode as far as getting ready to face the LA Rams, a team that offensive coordinator Clay Kubiak says he thinks about the Rams every day. And so when the 49ers are practicing against another team, I'm sure they're projecting out on certain things that they feel can help them in that week 1 game as well. So also, Jim Harbaugh had an opportunity during his press conference, which took place about an hour before the practice. He said that he was looking forward to meeting Brock Purdy. He said that he hoped that Kyle Shanahan would introduce him to Purdy. He had some really good praise for Purdy, his accuracy, his timing, his cool demeanor under pressure, and also had some praise for Kyle Shanahan as well, saying that Shanahan always fixes their mistakes. Whatever shortcomings they might have, it doesn't take him long to make those adjustments and correct those things. And he basically said he never has back-to-back bad seasons. So Jim Harbaugh has had a lot of success in the NFL. Those 4 years with the 49ers and now with the Chargers. And so it was a very well-run practice from both sides of the ball. There wasn't that extracurricular activity, all the fighting that we saw when the 49ers played the Tennessee Titans. And when asked about it afterward, Kyle Shanahan, do you have a talk with your team as far as just playing football and not getting into those scuffles? He said, it was the coach of the Chargers who has a lot more discipline over his team than the coach of the Tennessee Titans. Of course, Kyle Shanahan was making a joke, talking about Jim Harbaugh, but also taking a swipe at his former assistant coach, Robert Saleh. So that's the rundown from El Segundo, where the Chargers have their practice facility. By the way, it's a nice sprawling practice facility here, 14 acres. And it does feel like the 49ers have kind of outgrown their practice facility. Let's leave the substation out of it. Would not surprise me at all if the 49ers are looking to move. And I think that they are looking to move practice facilities to a larger footprint. more acreage where they can have a lot of stuff. I know their team offices are away from where their training camp is. So I think sometime relatively soon, the 49ers will have a new practice facility. Now, how long it would take for them to actually have things built and move in, that remains to be seen. Probably a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. But I do think that the 49ers won't be in that Santa Clara site for all that much longer. And when you come to a place like here where the Chargers practice, when in the past we've gone to Minneapolis where the Vikings are, it's not Minneapolis, but it's a suburb of Minneapolis. Also, Inglewood, I believe it is, in the Denver area where the Broncos are. You can see that the 49ers have kind of fallen behind as far as the facilities that NFL teams now require for everything it is that they have as far as all the amenities to house an NFL team. So that's the latest here from El Segundo. Thanks so much for watching this video, and that is it for now.
All right, that was Matt Maiocco talking about the practice from today, and he just hit a point about the practice facility. The Niners have been down there since 1988. They moved out of the old facilities at Redwood City, where they were there for numerous years, and they moved out of there after the '87 season. Moved about 15, 20 minutes from Redwood City, not far from Palo Alto, and moved down to Santa Clara in 1988. And we're going to use this segment to look back of the 49ers' old practice facility, where they christened a new facility in Santa Clara. They built that with the Marie DeBarlo Sports Complex back in the late 1980s, and that's of course where the 49ers ended up winning three of the 5 Super Bowls in franchise history. And in our Niners Radio 49 flashback, and it could be perfectly timing that the 49ers can it's a perfect fitting in our final segment in our Niners Radio flashback. We're going to go back to 1988 when they introduced a new facility called the Marie Sports Complex. That was the Niners' home in the late 80s when the Niners were doing their run towards winning the Super Bowl. And we're going to take this time out, and when we come back, we'll have that in our Niners Radio 49 flashback. That will, by the way, be our final segment. Professor B, you're watching 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. We'll be right back. Welcome back on 49ers Live, Professor B, our podcast. Oh, by the way, during that previous segment, we like to apologize. We had some technical difficulties again for that segment. We apologize for inconvenience that happens every now and then. Just a reminder again, if you want to purchase 49ers tickets for any of the games that will be coming up, go to 49ers.com/tickets. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Our goal is try to get 1,000 subscribers. We'll continue to build this podcast. Now, coming up in our final segment on Niners Radio 49 Live, we're going to share a little bit of a flashback from this is what we were talking about prior to our break. The 49ers, we talk about the 49ers needing a new facility. And we're going to share with you, this was from the 1988 49ers highlight film. And we're going to, of course, as always, footage is courtesy by NFL Films. And we will, this was back in the spring of 1988, some 38 years ago, when the 49ers left their old facility at down in Redwood City, and they moved about 20 minutes down to South Bay in Santa Clara near San Jose International Airport to their new facility. So as we take a look at this segment right here, this was from the night. This was a special celebration as they christened their new Marine DeBarlo Sports Complex. So hope you enjoy this segment, Professor B, here on Niners Radio 49. Our final segment. We're having some testing 1, 2, 3. We're having some technical difficulties. Please stand by. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. All right, we're continuing to have technical problems, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to share you that Niners Radio 49 flashback moment at this time. So where we're at right now, they're getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. So we'd like to thank all of you for watching, and we'll have our next 49ers podcast later in the week, probably a little quick post-game recap. Thursday night when the Niners take on the Chargers, the kickoff time will be at 6 o'clock down at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. The game will be on KPIX CBS 5. Guy Haberman, Tim Ryan with the call. Then on the Niners Radio Network, it will be Bob Fitzgerald and Keena Turner. So thank you for watching this edition of 49ers Live. And we'd like to thank the LA Chargers for their assistance, and also 49ers.com TV 49 for all the footage as well. And we will show you that footage next time of the Niners when they open up their facilities in Santa Clara on our next podcast. That's it for now. We're getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. Professor B, glad you guys joined us tonight. And check us out at youtube.com/@NinersRadio49 and click the subscribe button. That's it for now. Professor B. Davis signing off, and so long. Thank you for watching Niners Radio 49ers podcast on Niners Radio 49, part of the Satellite Digital Media News Network. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.